What's happening, everybody? Once again, I hope everyone is being safe. I hope you're taking care of yourself, but more importantly, I certainly hope you are taking care of others. Wow, what a beautiful night. Nick, what's happening? Listen, we're doing a Q&A, brother, so I need a question from you. Absolutely. We're going to wait for some more people to come on, but while you're on, my bud, what's happening? You staying safe? All good? Hey, LJ, what's happening? So here we are. We're doing a live Q&A. Ask me anything. It's Sunday night. We're going to make this a regular thing. And I know Nick, very smart young man, has some questions. He'll be throwing one out to us, that's for sure. And LJ, Babam, my question is, where am I taking you to lunch when I get down there? Don't worry about that, man. I'll take you to a great place. There's a lot of great places down here as soon as it opens up. But I need a life question. I need a good question, Nick. Come on, brother. I know you got something up your sleeve, something you want to work on, something you want to do. Increase the mindset, do something. How about you, Lauren? You got a question? Keep this going. Remember, it's about everything. People adapting. Hey, Bill, how are you? Hope you came with a question. I would love to get a question from you. That's what this is all about. It's about engagement. It's about keeping people engaged. It's about keeping people, getting their minds off the quarantine, working on themselves, elevating themselves. And I'm really curious how many people are actually doing that, to be quite honest with you. So who's first? Who's asking the first question? We got to get the engagement, guys. We got to get the engagement. Ask away. Feel free. Boy, it is beautiful. I got to tell you, I really do think the world is changing since people are staying inside. I mean, I've never seen the skies like this. I mean, it is just absolutely remarkable. It's beautiful. And they showed a picture of L.A. My God, I mean, you could see. I mean, you're in an airplane. You could actually see the airport when you're descending, which I think is a first in a long time. So, who is going to be the brave one and ask the first question? This is... Come on, you guys. You got it in you. You want me to ask you a question and you answer? That's the wrong way around. I can't do that. But anyway, if nobody has any questions, maybe we'll just talk about what's going on. It looks like some of these states are going to open. And most importantly, I hope people are prepared. I hope people have adapted. I hope they've changed their mindset. I hope they've reprogrammed themselves. And if they are unfulfilled, I hope they certainly are making the changes so that when we come out of this, they're doing the things that they love and they're really going to take advantage of life. I think a lot of people have learned a lot of lessons out of this, especially when it comes to gratitude and appreciation. I think people are certainly going to appreciate one another more, even though we're going to still have to keep safe distancing from one another. I think social distancing is the wrong word, though. Social distancing doesn't go too good. The second wave, Lauren. With the big flu back, whatever year that was, it was 1980, whatever it was. The second wave came, and it was, a lot more dangerous than previous. But, like I said, we just have to. What's a better word than social distancing? Hey, Stacy, how are you? I hope you came with a question. I certainly hope you did. But social distancing doesn't make any sense, because how are you being social if you're distancing? That's a good question. That's something that people should think about. So there's a question right there. What's social distancing? Can't be social if you're distancing. These are just things that pop in my head. Ignore me. It's kind of crazy. But do you think this was a wake-up call for most or just a few? This is a wake-up call for everybody. I mean, anybody who's sitting back right now and thinks that they do not have to change their priorities, they don't have to change their choices and their habits and the way they live their life going forward, I can't imagine. And I'm sure there are a lot of people in this world that are looking at this and simply complaining and getting frustrated instead of looking at it as a reset. But physical distance, that's correct. Socially Yeah, I don't like the word social distancing. But Faydan, I think it's a great question, but it was certainly a wake up call for me. I'm doing a lot more, working on myself, working out more, reading books, working on the podcast. I hope people are developing themselves. That's what I really do, and I hope they come out of this loving people more and wanting to change the world, to make it a better place. I mean, look, people have been living such mundane lives, and think how much more mundane it came to them when they realized that all they could do was sit home and stream Netflix, or all they could do is, go to the 9 to 5 and come home, and that's it. That's the end of the day. Wake up the next day. I think the wake up call is people are going to start living their lives in ways that they never did before. So awesome question. I really appreciate it. Hey, Eric, I hope you came with a question. I'm still waiting for Stacy's. I'm still waiting for Lauren's. LJ, you better throw that question out there. That's what we're here for. We're here to engage, not just to look at each other, although I can't see you guys, so whatever that means. Who else? Who has the next question? Let's see who's on here. Bill, I don't know if you have a question. Nick, I thought you were going to ask a question. I was banking on you. LJ, stop hitting those buttons and ask a question. I think a lot realized they're wasting their lives on. Yeah, and it's never too late. It really isn't. I mean, to think about it, the worst thing in the world is to die with regrets. And right now, people have an opportunity, if they look at their lives, they look at the window they have right now, use those years to make a difference. Use those years to do the things they've never done or the things they were afraid of. My next book is coming out by September. And I appreciate that question. This book is going to be really interesting because there's been a lot going on. You're thinking. Okay, you're thinking. But my next book is going to be talking about all of this. It's going to be talking about the changes. It's going to be talking about the changes I made. It's going to be talking about, why I took the leap of faith and took the plunge to do what I wanted to do, and to, really reach a major audience and create a movement of people that are going to elevate one another's. But it's also going to be about what I talk about now on how I believe the world is changing and how we're going to adapt to that world. There's a lot of fear out there. A lot of people are very frightened about the new world. I don't know why they are. Before this pandemic, the world wasn't working. The world wasn't working. I'll tell you the only thing that may not change, I hope it does. I hope the politicians start working together. Government's a business right now, and I hope it's no longer a business. It's just too corrupt. It's just too nasty. And I hope when this is over, people just shut that damn news off. I mean, they just shut it off. After being out of our routine so long, how do we get motivated to get back and better? Well, first off, your routine should not have changed. You should be working. You should be working on yourself and should be making it happen. My routines of waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting my workout in by 6 o'clock, that hasn't changed. If anything, it's improved because I'm doing prisoner workouts. I found a place right across the street where, they had a podcast studio, so I'm getting all my episodes in. A routine, and it's not getting motivated. People have to start getting inspired now and prepared, to hit the ground running once we're out of this pandemic. Look, I say it all the time, we're all born with motivation. Nobody has to motivate us. Nobody. We have to be inspired to act on that motivation so we implement what we want to do to move forward and to move others forward. And that's what it's all about. Okay, here is mine. What do you realize elevating others? What made you realize elevating others is what you're passionate about? And what are tips for us to elevate others too? Well, that's simple. It's helping people who can't get out of their own head, who are still programmed. You want to elevate somebody? Do something great. Reach out to them. Have conversations with them. Ask them, what is holding you back? Are you doing what you love? It's the first question I ask people when I get on a coaching call. Are you happy? Do you love your life? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel that you are setting yourself up for what is going to make your future bright? And if so, they utilize that passion and that purpose inside of them to share with other people, to share their story. That's what inspires other people to get on that path to freedom and happiness. And that's how you elevate others. That was a great question, by the way. But the reason I did it is I realized that my life, what I was doing, professionally especially, but professionally it was horrible. I was doing something for so long and I did not realize how painful it was. It was absolutely painful. Shane, I hope you have a question. I hope you came in with a question. I would love to get one from you. But Lauren, that was an outstanding question. And that's when it burns that badly inside of you, that's your passion, that's your purpose. And that's something schools can't teach you. It's something college can't teach you. You have to dig down inside and you have to educate yourself and learn and feel it, because you'll know it when you feel it. Believe me. When you feel that burning sensation inside, like it's something you just must do, that is when you find what your passion is. And that's what my passion is, elevating others. Excellent question. Who's next? Who's up next? Shane, come on, my brother. You got a question? You have to. And just to expand on that, it's, one of my podcast episodes is really about that. It's how many people, my question would be, how many people are actually working on themselves? The worst thing I do is care so much what others think and say. How do I stop that? Well, first off, it's none of your business, Lauren. It's none of your business. What other people say, who cares? How does that affect your life? You shouldn't care. You shouldn't care. Think about what people say about me. That guy's crazy. That guy, think of the things I've done, but I don't care. I'm doing what I'm doing because I know it's what I should be doing. And I also know it's my way of taking care of my 3 daughters in the most spectacular way, taking them traveling, taking them everywhere else. It's not that I haven't taken places. I mean, when Elevate Others, the movement takes off, I'm going to be able to go places, avoiding confrontation. Well, it's avoiding confrontation. There's only confrontation if 2 people are involved. So if you walk away from the confrontation and you don't let that, you're bad about that. You're not bad about that because you just recognize it. So that's the first step. But you have to understand something. When somebody's being confrontational with you, just excuse yourself from the conversation. That's what I do. Like, for instance, I stand around 2 other people and all of a sudden they start debating politics or they start debating religion. That's confrontational to me. Nobody wins in that argument. I walk away and I excuse myself. I do not want to be part of this conversation. I want to have a peaceful conversation. I want to have tonight. And, it's up to you to have the power within you to walk away. And when you have the power to walk away, you have control. You have now taken control of the situation. So, confrontation, remember, it takes 2 to be in a confrontation. It really does. And also, to avoid confrontation, start communicating better beforehand. Communication is key. Communication is something that is crazy. And the reason of confrontation, hey, Vince, how are you? Hope you have a question. The reason for confrontation is lack of communication. Or people just don't want to give in to somebody else's ideas and thinking. That's why our government and our politicians, it's a scam, it's a shame, it's a business. These people all they do is argue, they have confrontations because they don't want to come to common terms. The last time this ever happened in politics was Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill, and that was in the 80s. Those 2 would sit down and have dinner twice a week. And Ronald Reagan did it so that the left and the right would stay together and work together as a partisan government to make sure that this government, or to make sure that this country was on a great path. And those were probably, those were 8 great years. I lived through it, I studied it. And so confrontation is knowing when to walk away, but it's also knowing when to communicate. But, confrontation can also turn into something good because it could lead to a dialogue. So if someone starts becoming confrontational with you, flip the script on them and say, look, I'm sorry you feel that way, but let's just have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Everything comes out of a conversation. Nothing comes from an argument. Nothing comes from a debate. Nothing comes from confrontation. James, you're on. I hope you have a question. Trisha says, what if people are lying about you and trying to get you in trouble? Well, that's their problem. Why make that your problem? I mean, seriously, you can't defend yourself against that. There's no reason to. You just go on doing what you do, and guess what? It all comes out in the end. Everything comes out. Let karma take. Listen to me. If you don't believe in karma, start believing. Because everything comes out. Everything. Believe me when I tell you. And the greatest thing about liars is they have to remember exactly what they say. Think of the stress they're putting on themselves. So Trisha, whatever they're saying about you, don't make it your business. I do this all the time. I love confrontation. What? You love confrontation? Okay. Well, if you love confrontation, that's something different. But confrontation is something where you really don't get too far. I mean, think about it. If you're confronting someone or someone's confronting you without having a dialogue and a conversation, it just ends the same way. So it's really just a waste of time. Confrontation is a waste of time. Debating is a waste of time. Hey, Sandy, I hope you have a question. And I hear you're coming down to Orlando soon, so I cannot wait to see you. We had a few very good questions, but let's see what Sandy has to throw out. I can't wait to see Sandy's horses. My God, one day I'm going to get invited to her ranch, and I'm going to be able to see these horses. So Sandy, throw it out there. Something deep and profound. And Vince, too, if you're on, throw out a question. And James, I do appreciate that. Oh, you love flipping the script. Excellent. I was hoping that's what you were saying. So yes, always flip the script on them. And guess what? They feel this big. They're trying hard to get me fired by spreading lies about me. Well, then take a preemptive strike and go and talk to your boss and let he or she know what's going on. By you going there and just saying, I don't want to get involved in politics. I don't want to get involved in this, but they're dragging me into it and they're telling lies, and I'd like to see the proof of this. I would like to find out even why they're doing it. Are they team players? And just nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. And if it's something that's ultimately going to hurt you, then yes, you have to get in there and you have to take care of it. I'm still waiting for Sandy's question because I know it's going to be a good one. I absolutely know it. It takes so long for Facebook to show me who's on and where the questions are. That's the only thing that is absolutely crazy. But these are great questions, guys. Like think about it. As we prepare to get out of this pandemic, start rehearsing these. Start thinking about these questions so that you're going to be a better version when we get out of this. And all of these things, they're just going to dissipate because no one's going to want to tolerate it. Absolutely not. Hey, Bert, how are you? Here's a guy who knows the world. I know Bert's going to come up with a great question. Bert, let's get a question so that we can get some dialogue going. I was banking on Sandy being the next question, but I guess it's not going to happen. So let's get one going, Bert. I know you got one in there, brother. I know you do. But guys, really seriously, tomorrow I'm going back into the podcast studio, and I'm just gonna put it out to everybody. Who's making the changes right now? Who's changing their habits? Who's increasing their routines? Who's getting their mind ready, for the global reset? It's gonna be hard. It's going to be hard for some people if they're not doing it because, this is going to lead to depression, anxiety, all kinds of things. And especially with the amount of people out of work and everything else, I just wonder if people are reaching out to one another and really taking care of each other. That's what's most important to me. So, my greatest question, and I wish I could ask everybody in the world, like everybody in this country, wherever you are, have you been spending this time working on the better version of you when we get out of this? Are you preparing yourself? Are you implementing what it's going to take and what it's going to necessary for you to keep moving forward once we're out of lockdown? Bert, I'm still waiting for your question. Trisha, I want to thank you. James, thank you. LJ, Awesome questions. Lisa, excellent question. Bert, Mario, people need hope right now. What can you tell people right now so they can get back to living and make money again? Well, first off, I think that this is going to be another podcast episode too. People have to start thinking outside the box. People have to. I've been preaching for 2 years now about automation and technology. I've been preaching about something happening where wages were going to be lowered because of the consolidation and the way technology is really allowing companies to run on autopilot. And having the side hustle, doing something online, doing affiliate marketing, doing something where they can really, really not have to rely on anybody but themselves. You see, we have been programmed in a world where the government has to take care of us. Our bosses at companies have to take care of us. No, we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to take care of each other. They're not out to take care of us. They're out to take out of our pocket. You ever see that funny meme? Guy walks out into the parking lot, the worker, and he sees his boss getting into a Ferrari, and he says to his boss, "That's a beautiful car." And he said, "Listen to me. You keep working as hard as you do, and you keep showing up every day, and guess what? Next time you see me, I'll have a red one." Like, seriously. And that's the truth. People have to start working for themselves and on themselves and for themselves. James, how are you? Hope you have a question. McAuliffe, not Reynolds. James, thank you for the pal. A Babam right back to you. Awesome question, Bert. But that's what people really have to do. They have to start. And, I talked about this probably 6 weeks ago. I hope they started then. I hope they're not going to start right now. I really, truly hope they started then. And if not, PM me. Anybody, just hit me on Messenger. I would be happy to walk you through it. I would be happy to walk you through the different opportunities. How you doing, James? Throw a question out there, my man. Ursula, good evening. I hope you came with a question. We would love to hear from you. But man, that is just, that's something I've been driving in on almost every Facebook Live, making people are getting the right mindset, making sure they're adapting. I don't want people to be in shock when we get out of this. I know it's going to be different. I've accepted that, and I'm excited about it. I mean, put yourself in a position where people are going to need you. They're going to lean on you, and they're going to need your services. It takes money to follow my passion. Any ideas or suggestions? Well, if it takes money, it's you have to go out and you have to start doing it, no matter what. That can't be an excuse. It has to be something that is going to move you forward. It's like going back to the question. Hey, Reed. Hey, Don. It's like going back to Bert's question. People have to be prepared. People must be prepared. Look, the global landscape is changing. The Federal Reserve is going to be non-existent. The central banks are all consolidating. Hey, Elena, how are you? James, you started a business at $20. Like, imagine that. And you work for yourself. You don't have to rely on anybody else. People have become so reliant. Need to start the biz. Absolutely. But people have become so reliant. They're relying on the government. They're relying on, their bosses. Now look what happened. The people who own the companies, the people who are in charge out there, they'll furlough people as quickly as possible. They'll get rid of, banks have gotten rid of people. I mean, you think of the amount of pharmaceutical companies. Think about it. We're going through a pandemic. Pharmaceutical companies will let people go because they want to bring in more experts. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be challenging, but you got to make it fun. You have to make it exciting. As long as you're doing something you're passionate about, and it's not waking up every day and saying, "Oh my God, I have to go and do this." That's what sucks the life out of people. That's what kills people inside and out. The average man who has a heart attack dies on a Monday morning. That is not even a joke. You could Google that. That is an absolute fact. They die on a Monday morning because it is so stressful and it is absolutely bizarre. I didn't want to die on a Monday morning. I have 3 beautiful daughters. I mean, I want to create something that is absolutely fantastic. I'm not saying I have all the resources to do it, but I'm going to find a way. I'm not going to give up. Something has to happen to the point where, the dream that I have in my mind, the passion that I have in my gut, it's going to come to fruition, come hell or high water. No matter what. I've made so many sacrifices to get here. I'll just have to make more sacrifices. But are people willing to make sacrifices for happiness? Are people willing to give up certain things so they can? I mean, look, it's people. You want to change your life. Get rid of stuff you don't need. Sell stuff you don't need. It's nonsense. I mean, the one thing I hope people, come out of this. Hey, Christian, how are you? I hope you have a great question. The one thing I hope people, the earlier question, are people going to appreciate? How do you think they're going to come out of this? I hope people truly realize that having that big house and the fancy cars and everything else. Look, man, there's a lot of people living the high life that are in a lot of trouble right now. Ready to get featured in the podcast. Let's build our something. You better believe it, bro. You'll be on, and I can't wait. Big time entrepreneur right here, Christian Martinez. Real awesome. People are some of the wealthiest people have lost the most. Like, think about that. They've lost the most. They leverage themselves so much. They just, you see these people and you drive by all these. They drive by all these big houses. They think these people are so happy. These people are going to work every day to pay for the things that they own or that they think they own. They don't actually own them. Like that to me is just bizarre. It's insane. And it's been going on for years and years and years, but that's what the government has done to us. I might have you do a session with my sister. She's not doing well. She has a lot of emotional issues going on. Oh, dear God. I would be more than happy, James, more than happy. Just reach out to me on Messenger. It would be an absolute pleasure, And I think you know that. Our session was awesome. You're awesome. You had a great breakthrough. And that's what it's about, guys. Like, having that breakthrough is what becomes so compelling, because people spend so much time. They would rather complain. They would rather blame other people. But who's searching for the answers? Everybody wants the answers from everybody else. What about asking yourself inside? It's like when I coach people, I tell them, I can't make you do this. The choice is yours. I can only tell you the stages I've been through and what I did to change my mindset. But my story is my story. My story is not your story. So it's really interesting stuff. Hey, Kim, how are you? I hope you have a question. It becomes something where people right now are so consumed. You got it, James. People are so consumed with fear and anxiety, and rightfully so. But they've been taught that. I mean, I'll say this again. When we were born to be afraid of one thing: noise. Everything else you fear, you were taught to fear, because they wanted you. Whether the government, the media, especially the media. Why do you watch? Because every time something comes on, it's something, disaster here, disaster there, whatever. But if you walk by a TV set or you walk by a newspaper stand and it said something, oh, it's going to be a beautiful day today, you'd walk right by it. But if it said, oh my God, tornado's going to hit Manhattan, everyone would pick up that newspaper. Fear sells from the government and from the media. And they've instilled it in all of us, and it's up to us to unprogram ourselves. It's up to us to demanipulate ourselves so that we are concentrating on who we are. I can't say it any better than that, I got to be honest with you. I lived through it, I experienced it. Who else has a question? Let's get another question in before we wrap this up. It's like I said, it's such a beautiful night. I did it earlier only because I wanted you guys to see the sky. It's getting a little darker now, but how beautiful is that? And that's what it's all about. Like, people coming out of this, appreciate nature more, Like, I love walking. And I would just go for walks through my town. I would look at the trees. I would purposely go through the soccer fields. I'd smell the fresh cut grass. I'd go to the baseball field at the high school. It's taking in that nature. Like, people have to understand the amount of gifts that we're giving to us by being born to this beautiful earth. I mean, it is just absolutely wonderful. But how many people truly recognize it? How many people truly appreciate it and are truly grateful every time they would walk outside before this pandemic hit? Now, I hope that changes. Maybe for some people it won't change. Some people are cynics. Some people right now they're just pissed off and want to get back to their regular daily grind. And they're really not thinking of other people. They're really not thinking about what they should appreciate, what they should change, thinking about how they should adapt. Those are the people that are going to be for shock. And I hope it's not many because, look, we want to change this world in a positive way, and I hope people come out looking to help themselves, but more importantly, looking to help others. So, with that being said, Kim, I was hoping you had a question. I certainly thought, Christian, I know you got a question, and Sandy, if Sandy's still on, I was waiting for a question from Sandy. But look, guys, this is what it's all about, and we're going to do this every Sunday night. It's going to be a regular thing. Thank my daughter Lauren for this because it was so. Look, last Sunday night was awesome, and I really enjoyed it, and I love having this engagement with everybody. And my middle daughter Lauren, she said, Dad, you got to do that every Sunday night, and let people know we're going to be on, and then they can come prepared with questions, and you can start helping people, and you can start making a difference with them. So that's awesome. So that's my LJ elevating others right there. She elevated herself. She elevated others. But if there are no more questions, I'll leave you with this. My podcast will be launching the end of the second week of this month, probably around May 16th or 17th, something like that. And I'm really excited about it. We're going to have some awesome guests on, and I'm talking real awesome guests, some influencers and celebrities, which is really cool. Got a great podcast manager. I'm going to write down some questions for next time. Absolutely. I look forward to it, James. I hope everybody does. Come with the questions, and we'll make it happen, man. Together. Look, man, alone, we can go fast. Together, we can go far. And we're going to go far, especially when this pandemic is over. So listen to me, guys. Elevate yourself. Elevate others. Babam. You guys have a great night. Peace. And I can't wait till I see you on next time. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.